Hello, folks. So, in this video, I wanted to talk about how environment can influence you, right? Like, generally, an environment, not just like I'm not talking about nature and all that, but nature also, but any environment, right? Like, say, a workplace environment or whatever, right? How the way an environment is set up, or how an environment can actually influence you and your actions and your thoughts and whatnot, right? And your behavior and all. So, for example, I was just walking past the smoking zone area in my workplace in my tech park in India. So I'm in actually Bangalore, Karnataka, and the smoking area is actually pretty big, but not too big. Of course, it can't hold all the people in the IT park. It's not that big. It's just a small space with, say, capacity to hold, say, probably 50 people standing, or 40-50 people standing. Sitting, probably just some 20 people, right? So, how does this influence the people who are smoking, right? Like, this is my assumption, right? Let's say, um, the space was bigger, right? The space for the smoking area was bigger. Then what would happen? Well, I think more people will probably come in and smoke, and at the same time, like, let's say now 50 people can stand and smoke, but let's say 50 people very close to each other. Of course, they have to be really packed to actually been packed or packed, be very close to each other, standing very close to each other to be able to fit in 50 people in that area. But now let's say you can fit in 100 people. If you make this area bigger, then more people can actually smoke at the place at the same time. Then probably more people can come. There is a bigger space, more people can come and whatnot. And this also includes people can actually bring in friends who don't smoke also, but they will be actually smoking, in the sense that they'll be passive smoking, or who knows, they might end up actually smoking after joining their friend for a smoke, and then they're like, I'm just simply standing here, I could try a smoke or something like that, right? So they could bring in more folks. They'll be like, there is space, let's just walk around and talk, and then let's go, I'll take a smoke break, you can sit near me and listen. Some people are okay actually with other people smoking, but they wouldn't smoke, they'll just sit nearby, but they'll need a space to sit nearby or stand nearby, right? So if the smoking area is actually big enough, then people can bring in plus one or plus n number of people. And if the smoking area is big, right, then more people will probably stay for more time and smoke more, because if the smoking area is small, then slowly at some point it will become crowded if a lot of people stay for a long time, right? So a lot of people are standing, sitting and whatnot, and smoking and talking and whatnot. Then like what happens is, at some point it will get crowded, and when more people come in, the people who are already there will feel like, okay, let's just move out or something, right? So let's just go out, like let's just finish off our break time, right? But if, let's say that if it was a bigger space, then they wouldn't feel very crowded, and they wouldn't feel the need to actually go away. This is like similar to how you have a restaurant, a small restaurant or a small cafe, where you drink your coffee and you're done with your coffee, and then now most probably the restaurant owners are going to be like, or the cafe owners are probably going to be like, hey, we don't have enough space, can you actually is it okay to ask you to leave or something like that, because they are probably not providing real estate as part of their features. Like some companies and cafes would actually, like, or restaurants, for example the posh ones, like say Starbucks, wouldn't actually ask you to just leave, because they're asking for a lot of money for the real estate and whatnot, right? But a small cafe or restaurant which provides beverages and food and whatnot for cheap costs, not really costly products and services, then they would be like, more people need to come in and actually have their food or product or service and experience it. So if someone else is actually occupying the space, then they'll be like, can you please give some space for the people who have just come in and things like that, right? So similar to that, in a smoking area, there the environment is a cafe or a restaurant and the real estate, and people will feel like, okay, let's just finish eating fast and then move on so that other people can come and eat and whatnot, right? And usually there are a lot of such restaurants where it's like a hustling area where the idea is to quickly finish eating and go out, go finish your breakfast. Usually that's the kind of quick bite and whatnot, right? So yeah, I mean, similar to that, in a smoking area, if people are standing and like smoking, or they're done smoking, they're just sitting there and talking and whatnot, they'll probably end up taking another smoke break, or like they'll probably smoke another cigarette, right? Or whatever they're smoking, right? They'll probably smoke another one. If they're sitting there, it's an environment where you smoke, it's a smoking area, right? If they're sitting there for longer time, they might just end up taking another smoke also, who knows, right? But then if someone else comes in and this area is small and they feel like, okay, we have been sitting for a long time and there are other people who have just come in, they need to be able to sit or stand and like smoke, let's just leave them some space, right? Then they would probably leave earlier, right? Or else they might just stay longer, and if the space is bigger, if the smoking area space is bigger, they might stay longer, smoke more. This is similar to even cafe restaurants. If the place is bigger, or if they don't have to really move out after they're done eating, they might order some more and whatnot, right? So yeah, I mean, environment really does influence you a lot. And in this case, say for smoking area or a restaurant or a cafe or any place, right, the environment matters a lot, right? How you build your environment. So I think it's a great idea to actually not have a very big space for a smoking area. I think that way you probably are helping a lot of people to not smoke for a lot of time and not spend a lot of time in the smoking area, because that's why it was built as a small space. People also talk about this idea, extrapolate this idea even for garbage, right? For example, you have a smaller garbage can in your house. Would that reduce the garbage? Most probably no. But then, let's say I am the only person in my house and I have a garbage, I have a dustbin, and where I put the garbage, waste, and all that. And let's say I am the person who has to and who gets to, I would say who gets to, but basically I am the person who is responsible for taking out the garbage, right? And the moment I have a small garbage can or a dustbin, I will, if the amount of waste is the same and it's not getting reduced, then I will have to actually take out the garbage multiple times, right? So that way, if I'm the person who is going to take out the garbage, then I would be like, hey, I have to take out the garbage multiple times and whatnot. I would probably think of a different option. Either I would probably increase the size of the garbage can, or I might just think about how can I reduce the waste. It can make you go there. It can make you think about that, right? So yeah, I mean, even in an office environment or whatever, if you have a garbage can that is small and that is filled up, then people at some point will be like, okay, let's not create more waste or something. But it really depends though. Sometimes you just are creating waste and you can't help it. But in a house environment, I think you can actually influence it. The same is true for even dishwashing, right? If you really have a small space to actually put your dishes for washing, and you need to wash your dishes, and you are the person who's putting the dishes for washing, and you are the person who has to wash, and think of it like you get to wash so that you get to actually do it and whatnot. So if you are the person responsible for actually washing the dishes, then also creating dishes that are actually dirty, that need to be cleaned and washed, then you would be like, hey, let's not use too many dishes because I only have to clean, and it's too much work to clean, and it also takes a lot of time and effort and energy. I would rather energy and water, money, resources, whatever, right? Money in the sense like you have to buy dishwashing liquid and whatnot, whatever, right? So dishwashing gloves and like the maintenance of it, and buy it again if it the wear and tear and whatnot. then you would be like, let's use less dishes as much as possible, right? You will try to optimize things. So this way, basically, your environment influences you. So a smaller smoking area is better, probably. A smaller garbage can or dustbin is better, probably. It might influence you to, use the smoking area less, use the dustbin a bit less, probably. Not of course always. And same for, say, if your sink, the dishwashing sink is actually small, you'll probably put in less number of dishes in it, right? And avoid overcrowding the sink, and yeah, try to wash up the dishes as much as possible. um, so yeah, I mean, I think this kind of idea can be extrapolated in many cases. For example, even in a work environment, if there is a water station almost everywhere, and there's a station close to each and every person working in the office, like if for everyone the nearest water station is, like, say, 10 meters away or 50 meters away, then probably everyone would probably just drink more water, compared to a case where the nearest water station for everyone is probably farther away, or it's different. The nearest water station is, like, um, at different places for different people, and not the same distance and whatnot. Then each and every person for whom the water station is closer, they'll probably, and they know that it's closer, they'll probably be less lazy to actually get up and get the water and drink it, right? So, and many ways you can actually use your environment to influence you. The Atomic Habits book talks about how you can use your environment to influence you, have triggers in your environment, and use particular environments for particular reasons and whatnot, so that way you just use one environment only for one particular reason, or for one particular activity or whatever, right? Or action and whatnot. So let's say bed is only for sleeping and not for actually scrolling your Instagram or scrolling your YouTube shorts, Instagram reels and whatnot, right? Or Facebook or Twitter or Insta, whatever, any social media or anything bad, or just using a phone. You are not supposed to use your phone on your bed. Then if you cultivate that habit and ensure that the environment, which is your bed and bedroom, is only for actually sleeping, then you can actually just influence your whole behavior and thought process and mindset to actually work according to that, and not end up using the phone and whatnot. So yeah, I mean, environments influence a lot, is what I believe. So I just wanted to talk about that, especially about the smoking area, and it being small. So I would say if you are building a place and you are building a smoking area, I would say just build it really small. So yeah, that's all I had for this video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.